Today on Deeply Shallow, episode 13.
We put our irreverent spin on dealing with grief at the holidays and what is happening to Black Friday.
Hello.
Hey, remind me, is this podcast deep opinions on shallow topics or shallow opinions on deep topics?
It's everything. It's Deeply Shallow with Matt and Tara. Whether you feel deep, shallow, or just plain petty.
Take a ride through life with us. Matt and Tara, we chronicle it all.
Tell me the whole story, start from the beginning. What were you wearing?
Whether we are tackling aging, friendships, our spouses,
Hubba and Banana are the two luckiest people on earth.
or any other of life's fun, we have different takes, but one goal. Get ready to laugh, shake your head, and wonder where our mothers went wrong.
I'm a 30-year-old woman, and I am still terrified of my mother.
Get in and hold on.
It's Deeply Shallow with Matt and Tara, and listener discretion definitely advised. What is up, Shallow Squad? Welcome to Deeply Shallow with Matt and Tara. Whether you are feeling deep or you are feeling shallow, you have come to the right place. I am your host, Tara, along always with my co-host. He was a Broadway star in a past life, Mr. Matt Hanley.
Well, that's probably the nicest compliment you've ever given to me.
Well, you're welcome. It sure as hell wasn't a mechanic. Not in a past life, not in this life, not in a future life. No life are you going to be a mechanic.
So, Tara, we recently had a question from one of our listeners who wanted to know, hey, at the top of your show, you guys always discuss kind of your mental health awareness. And so we thought it'd be great today to give, in light of today's topic,
Sure,
which is going to be talking about grief at the holidays, which is a very serious topic.
Absolutely.
We kind of wanted to let the Shallow Squad know why we're so in tune with mental health.
Sure.
And why we want to make that such a focus on our show.
Definitely.
And I think for me, I am surrounded by folks who struggle with mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And I think deep down we all are.
I think so.
Would you agree with that?
I absolutely would, yeah.
And so I think that we're willing to kind of talk about uncomfortable things and bring it to light, but also put our spin on it. Because one of the things that makes our relationship great and one of the things that allows us to get through these mental health struggles that we have is our ability to laugh.
Absolutely.
And we always want folks to realize that while we're being lighthearted about it, like we're not making fun of it. We're just trying to let people know it's okay to struggle with mental health.
Right. And I think what you said about everyone struggles with mental health, the reality is every person has a mental health. That is part of who we
Absolutely.
are as human beings.
Right.
And whether it's something that you have to work on or you're very blessed and kind of can just live your day to day without putting a big emphasis on it, you still have to understand where it comes from.
Right. Because even if it doesn't impact you personally,
Sure.
it certainly can impact the people around you and your ability to cope and deal and understand
Sure.
some of what they're going through to help you be a better friend, a better partner, a better family member, whatever that may be.
Mhm.
That's a huge piece of it.
And I think with Deeply Shallow, our whole purpose is we actually talk about pretty heavy things.
Sure. Absolutely.
But we try to do it in a way that people understand it's okay to talk about how you're actually feeling about these things that are happening to
Yes.
you.
Right.
Parenting, marriage, divorce, failure, friendship. I mean, all of the things life throws at you, they're
Yes.
going to affect how you're feeling as a person.
Absolutely. Could not agree more with that. And that's one of the things that really allows us to, like I said before, say some things that people are thinking and that they want to say, and honestly to enable them to have those thoughts and not feel, a certain kind of way about it.
Guilty, right? Yeah. And I think it's important for the two of us, especially when we are approaching topics like, for example, failure in a past episode.
Yes.
For me, that was a very vulnerable episode.
Right.
And today we're talking about grief, which affects many people, yourself included.
Right.
And so I think it's important for us to kind of know before we dive into this topic, where we both at.
Right.
And, just kind of work from there. So that's why we do this.
So in that regard, we always start the show with a 0 to 10 score of kind of where we are. And Tara, where are you today?
Oh, goodness. Today I am probably at a 7-ish.
Okay.
I had some bullshit this morning.
Uh-oh.
I swear, I do not know why I started coaching cheerleading. The parents involved in this sport are insane. I should have coached knitting or chess team. The level of crazy.
But let's be fair. If you were coaching a knitting team, you would have just a different kind of crazy that you would be dealing with.
I guess so. I am just at my wit's end this morning with some of this crazy. But we also have a competition today.
Yes, right.
And my stomach is always like in knots all day.
Yeah.
After it's over tonight when I go to bed, I'm still going to have a nervous stomach over it. So
it brings out some anxiety.
It does. Yeah. So, and then obviously this topic is the deepest I think that we've dealt with. And so I'm nervous about that. So I'm gonna go with a 7. I feel like that's strong for the level, for the things I've had to deal with this morning.
Yeah.
But okay, what about you? How are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really strong, especially about this topic, because I do think that I will feel better after we discuss it.
Okay.
Because grief is really, really close to me.
Sure.
So I'm probably at an 8.5 of just being hopeful that, that some of the things that we talk about today, will resonate with some of our folks, and we know that it will.
I'm actually really surprised that you're that high. I was kind of expecting you to be lower. So I'm happy that you are in that kind of a headspace.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome.
Tara, so this week's episode is entitled Good Grief and Bad Friday.
That's right.
Now that we're into the holiday season,
sure.
we're 10 days to Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're officially in the holiday season.
Yes.
With that brings up a lot of emotions, both positive and negative.
Right.
And so we kind of wanted to talk about grief during the holidays.
Sure. Which I think that's only something you really kind of start to be aware of as you get a little bit older.
I do agree.
Yes.
I
remember when I was in college and I would hear that this was, a sad time for people or a hard time for people. And I just could not wrap my brain around that because I love Christmas. I love, and as we've talked about in our last show, Christmas starts on November 1st for me. But when you get older, you start to see
it becomes more real.
Things.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Let me give you a statistic, and I want to see if this surprises you or if you were aware of this.
Okay.
So the 2 weeks kind of before Christmas and the 2 weeks after Christmas, there is an increase in folks who pass away. And it's like 3 to 9% higher average of folks who pass away during that time. So you literally have an increase in death at the holidays. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
So with that in mind,
for a variety of causes?
Yes, specifically, I was reading an article and it specifically talks about the fact that people they want to hang on through the holiday. Like if you're very ill, okay, like one of your goals may be, hey, I'm going to, I know this potentially is the last Christmas or the last Thanksgiving if you're battling a terminal illness or something of that nature. I think that's specifically what it's referencing. Okay. But also generally the weather is cold and that obviously generates another issue for folks, if you have pre-existing conditions or whatever.
Yeah, that does surprise me. I did not know that.
Yeah. So then you realize by having this increase in deaths around the holidays that now how that's affecting lots and lots of people in a variety of ways.
Okay.
And I'll give an example. So my father actually passed away 2 days before Christmas. And, we kind of teased on a previous episode, about kind of being the Scrooge about Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't say that. Well, that's probably one of the reasons I don't enjoy Christmas as much as some other holidays.
Sure, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are probably in that same boat.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, when we have lost someone at the holiday, then we kind of have to figure out how to cope with it.
Sure, right. How to enjoy the people who are here and enjoy the holiday, but, still try to remember those we've lost without, being sucked in to some kind of depression or grief that affects us.
So I have a couple of pieces of advice.
Okay.
If you've lost someone at the holiday.
Sure.
One thing is, get in touch with your therapist before they go on vacation. Like, be aware of it.
Sure.
Like awareness.
Therapists should not take vacation this time of year.
Yes. And this
go in the summer like everyone else.
This probably is one of the, I should have asked, but I bet this is one of their busiest times.
Oh, I would. Yeah.
But the thing is, I think that like getting ahead of it and being aware and saying, okay, Christmas is always a tough time. Like, I need to go ahead and like make some plans, something that I can look forward to, something that can kind of take my mind, off of, that lost loved one, and not in a negative sense where you're like trying to forget about them, but just so that you have something to look forward to that's like a positive thing. Right. So that's probably
creating new memories or, trying to make new traditions with the people who are here.
And I think that's also a great piece of advice.
Sure.
Like, if there was something that, that was very sentimental, and people can handle things in different ways.
Sure.
Some folks might want to continue that tradition that was super important to that lost loved one. And that's fantastic. If you're in a headspace and a capacity that you can do that, then that's what you need to do.
Right.
Right. But if you're not in that headspace and you're like, this is the last thing I want to do, then figure something else out.
Do something different.
Travel at the holiday. Go do something, eat fajitas for Christmas, like whatever it takes to like get something that is helping like cope with that type of loss.
I think that's all great advice.
Yeah.
I love that. So Matt, let me ask you, I have been lucky to not have lost anyone in my immediate family at this stage of my life.
Sure.
But I have obviously I have another very good friend who lost her father. And what is the protocol for a friend? Should we ask about them around the holidays? Should we try to avoid bringing them into conversation? What do you feel is best case scenario?
Well, again, this kind of, everybody deals with this differently.
Right.
And I think that sometimes you have to feel that friend, or you have to kind of feel them out. Mm-hmm. Personally, I would never be upset or offended by someone who sent me a text or something, in fact, I do have a very close friend, and she was a very good friend with my dad, and always sends a text on Christmas or on the day that he passed, and says something encouraging about it. And it does give me a certain level of pride that people are still remembering him and that sort of thing. But I can see too where somebody might, and to some extent, I think it's always better to say something than to not. One of the things that people are cautioned on is like, the last thing people want to hear is, I know what you're going through.
Sure.
Like, I would encourage people to stay away from those types of, kind of messages, but just a message of, hey, I'm thinking about you.
Right.
You are on my mind. Like, to me, there is nothing better than having someone about whatever really the situation is, saying, hey, you're on my mind.
Right.
Like that, just to know that someone else is thinking about you and acknowledging something that you're going through, whether and it can be a myriad of things. I think that's super helpful. And that's part of being a really good friend, is just, it's not being scared to, and maybe it's not the right decision. Maybe that caused them some emotion, but I would always rather err on that side than just to pretend like it didn't happen.
Sure. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think the loss of a loved one is probably one of the most extreme and apparent and obvious forms of grief
most
at the holidays.
Sure.
But I don't think that that's the only type of grief that people may experience around this time of year.
Sure. Yeah.
Your first holiday after a divorce, or the first holiday that you might experience not having your children because of a custody arrangement, or even something as simple as your spouse having to work on that holiday. A lot of, police officers and firefighters, they don't get the holidays off.
The world has to keep turning. So there's a lot of people who don't have the ability to take that holiday off.
Sure. New job, in a different state away from your family. All different types of grief that are maybe not as strong or extreme, but certainly present
and still can greatly affect your mental health.
Absolutely.
I think you bring up a lot of great points, because in today's culture, in today's society, we're much more mobile than we were, 25 or 30 years ago. 35, 40 years ago, it was, you pretty much had your entire family in the same city for most people. Mm-hmm. But now that's not the case. Look at your situation.
Sure, yeah.
Your parents are how many 100 miles away?
Right.
And depending on, schedules and stuff, especially when you first get out of college or high school and you start working your first job, even then, a lot of times you don't get off very much time for the holiday.
Absolutely.
And that creates a very different type of grief of, remembering how you used to be able to celebrate and now, not being able to do that.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I think is really important is that if you are in a position reaching out to people who are going through one of the circumstances that you just mentioned.
Right.
If you know somebody has recently gone through a divorce, even if you know that they have other places to go,
sure,
I think it is hugely important to say, hey, you want to come hang with us at Thanksgiving?
Right.
Because how great would it make them feel if they had 9 invitations to go somewhere for Thanksgiving?
Absolutely. Yes.
Or whether you've, lost a spouse or, whatever the situation is.
Definitely. Yeah, no. I mean, I still remember my first Christmas where it was just Hubba and I. We couldn't see my parents that year for whatever.
Was this when you were in Syracuse? Have you been there?
Actually, no. We lived in Sherman at the time.
Okay.
But because of work schedule and school schedule, it didn't make sense for us to go I guess probably because of the day that it fell on.
Yeah.
We couldn't, logistically, we couldn't even get there and back in time.
Right.
And we were going to a friend's house, a friend I'm very close with. It was my godchildren's house. And on the drive there, as much as I love the holiday and I love these people who I'm going to spend time with, like I was crying. I was sad to be away from my mom and dad.
Right. So Tara, I can remember my father was always like super welcoming, especially at Thanksgiving. Because that was a holiday that I think has always been tough because there's a lot of people who have to work the day after and, and all that. So our house at Thanksgiving was always packed.
Sure.
It was just my 2 sisters and I. So very, very few people were actually blood relatives that were in this house. But we had a local college that was effectively like a missionary college. And so these kids were from all over.
Sure.
Pennsylvania and just, as far as you could imagine. So a lot of them didn't have any place to go.
Sure.
So
I love that Pennsylvania is as far as you can imagine people being away. It's like we're talking all kinds of exotic lands like Pennsylvania. Like, okay.
Well, I specifically remember this one couple from Pennsylvania that were
the original colony.
Yes. The Amish country. But so I can remember we would have, we might end up having 40 or 45 people at Thanksgiving, and we always played football afterwards in the backyard. But I remember for those folks, for that hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, they did forget about that grief for a moment of not being home. In the same way, probably when you went for that first Thanksgiving away from your folks.
Christmas,
Christmas, I'm sorry. There was a moment when you forgot.
Oh,
and
yes.
You were enthralled in what was going on.
Sure. No, absolutely. And I think that is the thing about grief. And just being very frank, I luckily have not had a lot of experience in grief. I'm not trying to compare me not seeing my family at Christmas to someone who's experienced a more substantial loss. But I think that's the thing also is you can be grieving and experience happiness at the same time.
Of course.
It's not one or the other. And just because someone is happy in this moment, that doesn't mean, they're over it.
Right.
They're not grieving anymore. They're fine.
No. But if you can give somebody that hour or 2 hours,
absolutely,
whatever that experience is. And so I think that's one of our things that we want to really, drive home is, what if you could give that hour or 2 hours to somebody? Why wouldn't you? And so that I think is the encouragement, because like we've talked about on other episodes, a year can make a huge difference.
It can. It absolutely can.
And if, be the person who invites those to, someone to a holiday, and you never know, it could be a real turning point for them.
Absolutely.
But even if it's not a huge turning point, it can be a respite or a relief from that grief that they're experiencing. Right after I went through my divorce, I had a very good friend who, I actually also got divorced around Christmas time. And I cannot tell you how many offers I had for people that, wanted me to come spend Christmas with them or whatever. And I had a really good friend who invited me for New Year's. New Year's is a kind of a little bit of a forgotten holiday when it comes to, folks being alone.
Sure.
And I will tell you, I had the best time. Ended up staying, the night at their house, and it was just a wonderful different experience. They do, they had their traditions that I got to be part of. And, it was just such a fun deal. But like I said, that wasn't necessarily a turning point in my grief. But for those couple of hours, it was just some happy fun and provided a bright spot,
Sure.
which I think is so, so important.
Absolutely.
It would not be a deeply shallow episode if we did not bring it back to some lighthearted first world problems.
Yes, please.
Are you ready?
Beyond ready.
Along the lines of grief,
Yes.
I want to ask you a very important question.
Okay. I'm a little scared.
Are we losing Black Friday? Is Black Friday dying a slow, miserable death?
I mean, maybe the actual Friday part. I think the black cloud of it is alive and well.
Yes, that's what I mean. The actual concept of Black Friday, have we completely lost it? We now are shopping so early for Christmas that Black Friday, in my opinion, has become completely irrelevant. And I'm talking about the actual Friday after Thanksgiving.
Sure.
Not the concept.
My mom bought one of Santa's gifts was delivered to Sam's Club.
Yeah.
So she had to go get it using their Black Friday deal. It's early November right now.
So she did this yet, like this week?
Yes. They were running a preview of their Black Friday.
And she was able
yesterday.
to. Okay.
Yes. It's early November at this point.
Okay. So have you ever actually done, back when Black Friday started at about 3 a.m., 2 a.m., did you ever go out to whatever brick and mortar store, Target, Walmart?
No.
So you were never a part of
crowds.
Really?
Yes. That's why I've only been to a handful of concerts before, because I hate crowds.
Like you get uncomfortable, or you just like, it's just annoying to you?
It's annoying. I don't like having to park super far away from things. I don't like having to walk really far. And I don't like having to wait in line.
Right.
I've seen Beyonce, Taylor Swift.
Yes.
And that's it.
That's it. That's all you're.
I braved the crowds for those two queens, but
okay.
pass on everyone else.
So I can remember when your Thanksgiving afternoon was spent flipping through the Black Friday ads.
Sure. I can remember my mom doing that as well.
Yes. So that would then start, and originally it started that on Friday morning at like 5 a.m. the stores would open, and then it got to be 4 a.m. and then 3, and then now we're in this, this clusterfuck we're in now. But I can remember flipping through those, and you would make a map and a schedule. Okay. You would, because normally you needed something from several stores.
I cannot imagine wanting anything enough to do that.
Well, but remember, if you have kids who are wanting something that is, that is going to be in high demand, and I think this is now especially important to you.
I do not care what my kid wants. I am not. No, I'll pay full price a different day.
On a different day.
And you know how much I hate to part with my money.
Yes. Yes, that is a very difficult thing for you to do.
But I am not.
So again, I can remember, like, you would map out where you were going, what stores you were going to go to, what time you were going to be there. So you had to prioritize what deal was the most significant.
That is insane.
It is insane.
I'm so out on that.
Tara, I can also recall it became popular, and this is several years ago, where folks would begin to camp out. So say the store is going to open at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. on Friday morning. People would start to camp out at like Best Buy or whatever, like on Thursday.
It's so crazy.
Yes. So, I mean, and we're not talking about like just like in a lawn chair.
They're glamping.
They are glamping. I mean, they've got a real tent, like they're getting pizza delivered, and so that's like where the line starts. So you drive by. So you're saying you would not do this?
No, there's no iPhone, MacBook, TV. There's nothing I want that bad.
Okay.
Nothing.
Well, let's play a little game then.
Okay. Yes.
I'm going to name a few things that I think that you might actually camp out for.
Okay. Well, I'm also going to then.
So let's set the time frame at, would you camp out in excess of 24 hours to get whatever it is.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to start with, Would you camp out more than 24 hours? And remember, it's normally cold.
Yes.
For a $1,000 gift card to Sephora.
Nope.
You would not do it.
Nope.
Okay. That surprises me.
No.
Because you like free stuff.
I love free stuff. I do. I hate camping out in the elements, as we have called them in the past.
Yes, if
No.
And just for the record, if anyone sees Tara and I camping somewhere, there's a problem. Please,
call the authorities.
please stop and help us.
Yeah.
We are in need of assistance.
Yeah.
We are not doing this on purpose.
We have finally broke. We're having a mental episode.
Yes, we need help. Please help.
call.
Okay, your turn.
All right. Would you camp out for
Mhm.
excess of 24 hours to meet your favorite housewives?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I could suck it up. Yeah. Yeah, I could suck it up. I
Okay,
mean,
well then I now
there's-
know the answer to the banana dude question. 'Cause-
I could suck it up for 24 hours. I mean, yes. To meet one of your favorite reality stars, of course.
Okay.
Yes, I could absolutely do
All right.
that. Okay. Tara, who's the guy that you think is so hot? Which show was it? I know this sounds really vague to the listeners, but she will know exactly who I'm talking about. One of your shows, there's a lead that you are just like
The Last Kingdom.
The Last Kingdom. And what is his name?
Alexander Draymond.
Okay, and you had a long running like number one, but this guy did he not
did.
unseat? Who's your previous number one?
Oh man, I'm gonna get in so much trouble with Bubba for this.
Tara's so uncomfortable right now.
Okay, here's why I'm uncomfortable. Because I am married to the world's most unjealous man.
Sure.
He does not get jealous unless it is someone who's made up in a TV show, but not the actual actor, just the character. Like he's jealous of the character. So my number one for years and years and years was Joseph Morgan.
Okay. And who is that for those who don't know?
He plays Niklaus in the show called The Originals. And what's kind of funny is him and Hubba, my friend Casey pointed out, him and Hubba look a lot alike. Which you think Hubba would take as a compliment. But
no.
Every time I'd be watching that show and Hubba would come in, he would get in the worst mood and be like, oh, are you watching Niklaus? And like make his voice all like high and ridiculous. And I'm like, yes, babe, you know I have a kid with you, right? Like,
okay,
jealous of all the funny characters.
Okay, and so and our new guy is, remind me his name again.
Alexander Draymond.
Okay, would you camp out for 24 hours to be able to meet Alexander Draymond?
No, I would not.
Really?
No.
Okay, you're committed. You're committed to this no camping thing.
Here's the thing. Like, I can understand more the reality star, but this person that I think is good looking, like, I don't know anything about him.
Oh, you don't know
what I mean?
Because you don't know what his real personality
exactly.
potentially
I like
is.
this character.
Yeah, okay.
He plays on this show.
But that may not be him.
Yeah, I think that he's hot, but I mean,
okay. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. So
okay.
That's a no for me.
All right.
All right. Would you camp out in excess of 24 hours for a year's supply of your favorite wine?
Oh, yeah. Okay, you're
going to camp out on everything. I'm going to be like, would you camp out for some hemorrhoid cream? Yep, sure would. Like,
no, I would not camp out for that. But the year's supply of wine, because just for those who need to know, like, that's a lot of wine.
Actually, no, it's not. For y'all.
Yes.
Yeah, I meant because you drink so much of it.
That would be yes. It would be a year's supply.
It would be 365 plus bottles.
It would be a number of bottles. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I have you here.
All right.
I think I have you.
All right.
Would you camp out for 24 hours for an opportunity for B to meet the Grinch and be guaranteed she would have a positive reaction?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Sure would.
I knew there was something.
Yep.
And there it is, folks. She will camp out for her daughter to have a positive interaction with the Grinch.
Also, I am trying to find a life-size Grinch currently. And all of the Grinches I have stumbled across have not quite met my standards.
Your standards.
But if anyone knows where I can find a Grinch in the DFW area who perhaps would make an appearance on Christmas Eve, please email me, Tara at deeplyshallowpodcast.com. This is not
This is
a
an
drill.
all points bulletin.
Yes, please. All right. Final one.
Okay.
Would you camp out in excess for 24 hours for a really great massage?
No, I wouldn't do that.
I'm actually surprised because you really like a massage.
I do love a good massage, but no, I'm not camping out for that.
Okay.
Well, I'm just thankful that I was able to find one thing that you would camp out for.
Yeah,
Now we know where the line is drawn.
that's right. I will say, if there was anything that would draw me out into these crowds,
Yes.
it would be just to watch. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I would set up a lawn chair,
Yes.
not to wait in line, to watch all of the insane crazies
Yes.
who are out there shopping.
Yes. Well, what's really funny about that is, so I love crowds. That's why I love New York City. I love crowds.
So weird.
Now, crowds that I want to be a part of.
Sure.
But but what's so funny is I've been out on Black Friday many times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I've ever actually purchased anything.
Really?
Yeah.
That's even worse.
I
You're the worst kind of person.
I just
who's
like,
out there.
I like to go out and see. And I mean, there might be one or two things that I'm looking for, but normally those things are gone. Like, I mean, I'm not as committed to the cause as some people are.
Sure.
But yeah, so give me an example of your favorite person or favorite type of person to watch at the.
My favorite person in any situation, but especially in this,
Yeah.
are the ones who are too aggressive. Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
angry people who are like ripping TVs and Nintendos out of people's hands. Like, yes. Thank you for creating this viral moment.
Well, I mean, you do the whole concept does lend itself to having to be aggressive. Like
There is a stack of 4,500 TVs over here, and this guy is punching his grandma to get the one in her hands. Like, dude, there's more over there.
One time I was, Walmart has now done this deal where, so like at each in time, like at 10 or 11, like they'll unbundle, something.
Oh, okay,
people can
okay.
get. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was back in and a lot of this stuff is electronics driven now.
Yes.
I was back in the electronics department of a Target or Walmart. Can't remember which one now. And I saw this tiny woman and like she went in there, I mean, aggressive.
Right.
And then I literally see her like army crawling out from underneath this pile of people with two of these, whatever it was. I'm sure it was a game of some type or whatever. But like, if you're small, sometimes I think you can get in there and get
to
out.
your advantage.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's to your advantage.
Mhm.
You can make your way in and out without trouble.
I also don't understand the people who made matching shirts for this. Like, is this your bachelorette party? I mean, why do you need matching shirts to go Black Friday shopping?
Well, but don't you think it's kind of like Six Flags? Like you're trying to keep up with everybody. There's a lot of people. Like, it's like,
I think you could just text them and be like, hey, bro, where you at? Like, the black t-shirt with white writing probably not going to do
help.
you a lot of favors. Like,
well, some people I think just really get jazzed up for it.
people are weirdos.
People are weird. But I will say this, and I think you can applaud this too. Like, there's a lot of people who, go out and look, but there's some people, Tara, like, let's be real. This is their only way of really stretching their Christmas budget to try to get their kids what they want.
Is it though?
I think so. I
don't
mean,
know.
if you can find a TV for $99, or whatever whatever it is, they may not be able to buy that for their kid. Like, this may be the only way they can really provide the Christmas gifts their kids want.
I mean, okay, guilt tripper, but also have you heard of Amazon? Because Amazon pretty much has Black Friday pricing all the time.
All the time. Well, but you are one who has often said, what is your catchphrase when you're trying to get things done? Balling on a budget.
Oh yeah, balling on the budget.
Is that not your catchphrase when it comes to trying to
Making it hail.
procure something that you really can't afford that you're trying to make happen for your?
Yeah. I mean, trust me, I understand the struggle of, not being able to put everything out there for your family that you would like to.
Yeah.
In the same breath, it's all material things. It's fine.
This is one of the most surprising moments that I've had on the podcast.
I mean, I love.
Tara Belton is.
I'm just saying, I love nice things as much as the next person. But
maybe slightly more.
Maybe slightly more, which I think helps my argument in saying sometimes it's just not worth it.
Yes.
For me, Black Friday is one of those things.
Right. Yeah. No, I get that. And you're right. It's gotten so crazy with, if you're already being able to buy Black Friday stuff now, like that's crazy. But one other thing related to a previous episode is I recall a couple of Thanksgivings ago, we were flipping through all of the ads and somebody at Thanksgiving dinner was trying to find outdoor lights. They were trying to find, string lights for the, for the gutters or whatever.
Right.
And then it became like this manhunt. Like everybody was trying to help them find these lights. And, it's like, oh, Lowe's has got them for $9.99 and whatever. And so, to speak to the traditionalists who use the Thanksgiving, the Black Friday ads to decorate their house, obviously after Thanksgiving. But okay, so Shallow Squad, we have batted around here. Are we actually losing Black Friday as a day to be celebrated with shopping? Text us.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know. Do you think, have we actually lost Black Friday and has it now gotten so watered down? Or do you think it is still alive and thriving and that's something that you participate in? So text us at 1-833-DSP-TEXT. So that's Deeply Shallow Podcast text.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Also, we want to hear if you have any crazy Black Friday stories.
Yes. Please.
Speaking of text messaging.
Text messaging? Mm-hmm.
I texted you.
You texted me
the other day, a meme, and I said, this is a big mood. And you asked me, what does a big mood mean?
I was confused. You texted me a meme somebody else had sent you.
Yes.
And you said I thought you said this has me in a big mood or something like that.
Let's pull it up. That way we know exactly what we said.
And so when I got this text, I was not sure if I was not understanding the lingo.
Okay. So I texted you. Someone sent me a meme and it said, a mom who has big dreams outside her family is still the same mom who has big dreams for her family.
Yes.
And I said, Kay sent me this and it's a big mood. And you said,
okay.
A big mood, ? But I do agree with this. And I was so annoyed that you didn't know what it meant. I just said, Google it.
Yes.
And you said, okay, I Googled big mood. Back in my day, the word was ditto.
Yes. It's now all this new lingo, but we also had lingo back in my day.
So this kind of got me thinking, and because we were going to talk about a big topic and I wanted us to have some LOLs.
Okay.
You know what that means? LOL?
Laugh out loud.
Yeah. I thought we would give you a little quiz see if you know some of the teen slang words as this article in Very Well Family.
Okay, so these are the you said teen slang words.
Teen slang words. So I guess I might be a little old.
Which you use in everyday conversation.
Using these.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right, I'm going to start you off with a softball. And you should know this from the live podcast show we went to. When someone says ox, what are they referring to?
Okay, well I can get that. That's something's awkward.
Yes.
That's
ding, ding, ding,
This is a shortened version.
We should have got a bell for this, or a buzzer.
We'll get a bell.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
Cheddar.
I'm going to go with money.
Yes. Ding, ding. Good job.
But that's been around a while.
Okay, take it up with verywellfamily.com. Okay, I'm just reading you what they say is the current cool lingo.
All right. Gucci.
Well,
that's a brand, right?
For 40-year-olds, yes, it is a brand.
Okay, outside of it being a brand, I'm not sure. Expensive?
Okay, so if someone says that's Gucci, that means that's good, that's cool. It's Gucci.
It's Gucci.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, please say that to someone this week and record it.
I am going to try to work these into a conversation.
Say it to your kids. Get a good video of you saying it to the boys and please get their reaction.
Okay.
Best tip.
I can do that.
Okay. Rides.
Can I have a spelling?
RIDES.
Okay, well, I was just making sure.
Rides.
Like a car?
No. Sneakers or shoes? And to be fair, I also would not. Okay.
What else we got?
Snatched.
Kidnapped? Like you've been snatched?
It looks good. Something looks good. Snatched looks good.
So, like, use it in a sentence.
My makeup's looking snatched.
Okay.
I guess. Don't
This
send me hate mail. That's bad. Thirsty.
That's somebody who is too aggressive in a relationship.
I mean, I'll give you half on that. Trying to get attention. Like when someone posts a thirsty photo of themselves on social, they're trying to get attention.
Got it.
All right. Last one.
Okay.
I'm going to give you another softball. Skirt.
Skirt.
SKURT.
Skirt.
I feel like your wife has probably said this to you numerous times, so you should get this one.
I have actually never heard her say this. I'm going to go with...
I have.
To me?
No, to me.
Oh, well then in that case, like trying to get out of doing something.
Go away.
Oh, skirt. Okay.
All right, you did really bad on this, but we will do this again.
Well, it is amazing to me how just within 10 years, how much we have to change the lingo to,
One of them was just the letter V that they had on this.
Yes.
And it stands for very. Like,
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
But anyway, good times.
Okay, Tara, since you decided to roast me on the lingo quiz,
Mm-hmm.
You and Hub have always, or not always, but the last several years have done a Friendsgiving.
Sure.
And you were changing it up to a Christmas-themed party this year for your friends. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so received the invitation and would just like to give a quick read of this invitation that I received.
Okay.
It's got various snowmen and peppermints and whatnot at the top.
Okay.
We're having a par-tay! Exclamation point.
Okay.
Champs and cocoa. Ho, ho, honestly, we're too lazy to put together a Friendsgiving this year, but we still want to have a night with all of our faves. In parentheses, and Tara wants to show off her Christmas tree. Close parentheses. So, come have some apps and zerts and bubbly beverages, and of course, a fun new game the Meltons made up. Fear not, no embarrassing pics this time. Wow. Tara, so December 14th, 7 p.m., the Meltons, in parentheses, we haven't moved, ... for once, close parentheses. Date subject to change with residency interviews. Take it up with Hubba. So the date could be changed.
We're not committing to a full Friendsgiving, and we're also not committing to the date.
You are the worst.
Invitation. I'm just trying to have an honest invitation.
Well, it is definitely honest. It is definitely honest. There is no question about that. But
we're not going to have any embarrassing pictures of our guests this time.
Yeah, last year we had a party at, I guess, was it Friendsgiving?
It was the Valentine's.
We had a Valentine's party, or Tara and Hubba had a Valentine's party, and they decided to do effectively like...
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Except they took photos from all of the people at this party, some of which who had never met any of us. They were like brand new off the street, and ended up, it was very embarrassing for some. It was really embarrassing for a few.
So Hubba and I went on people's social media or like in our text message exchanges and pulled
private
all
photos.
the embarrassing photos of our guests we could find. And then that was the photo. We handed everyone what would you mean cards. And then
you had to use one of those.
Yeah. And then we put up their pictures and then everyone played a what would you meme card on our guest photos.
And some people you went much harder at than others.
Well, some people gave us a lot more material to work.
Some people will do.
We weren't playing favorites. It was just
the way the cookie crumbled.
The way it was.
Okay, Tara, we've made it to your favorite part of the show.
I hate that. Matt Hanley, what are you hating this week?
This week, I am going to go with the mom who throws the birthday party in a late afternoon setting
Mm-hmm.
that does not offer pizza with the birthday party. Do not start a 4:00 birthday party with some strawberries, blueberries, and grapes.
And a cheese platter.
No, I would have been thrilled if there had been a cheese platter. There was no cheese platter. It was what I just mentioned: strawberries, blueberries, and
And a water fountain around the corner.
yes, I mean effectively, yeah. No, actually, it was 4:30 to 6 o'clock birthday party. I'm going to need something of sustenance.
Yeah, I agree with you. If
Yeah.
you're running into 5 o'clock,
Yes,
there needs to be
actual
some din-din.
food. Yes.
No, I agree with you.
Also, if you were having a birthday party for young children, and I'm going to say young children like under the age of 12, fruit on a platter is going to be a very nasty scenario with
Absolutely.
kids.
Yeah.
like that's got to be an individualized scenario because they are not going to wash their hands. So now
Definitely.
every strawberry on that platter is now bacteria laden.
At 100%.
So that's what I'm hating.
Okay. I love it.
Okay, Tara, what are you hating this week?
Okay. So I took B to this little play area, jungle gym activity center thing for toddlers.
Okay.
Well, it's not just for toddlers, but it's for younger kids. And I hate that really the parents are supposed to kind of be watching their
Yeah,
children at the
right.
very least. I mean, I'm up in that jungle gym with my kid.
Of course
Making
you
sure
are.
she's safe and happy and enjoying her time and getting through all of the
Yes.
activities. I hate when people let their kids just run wild
Yes.
and then those kids start messing with my kid.
Yes.
And I have to just kind of look around
Yes.
and wonder, okay, where's your mommy and daddy?
Yeah.
As you're pushing my child and pulling her hair and taking away her crayons and whatever the hell else
Right.
you're doing.
Yes.
If you're going to take your child to a shared activity,
Yes.
put your phone down
Yes.
and make sure they're at least behaving themselves.
Yes.
So that's what I hate, having to be the parent who just sits and looks around waiting for somebody else to make their child not assault my child.
Yes. Yes.
Because what are you supposed to do? A discipline and someone else's kid?
Well, that's what we used to do was we would just say, "Hey, no, we're not doing that."
Mm-hmm.
But now in this very sensitive world,
Yeah.
you have to, watch out for go get them out of the parking lot.
Right. I mean, she had this crayon at the little coloring section they had, and
Yeah.
this little kid came up and just ripped it right out of her hand. And she's looking at me like, "Hey, lady." Like,
What do I? Yeah.
So I said, "Could you give that back? She had that first." No. Like, mom and dad around? No, they're not here.
Oh, that is so irritating.
Yeah.
It's irritating when you're trying to do the right thing.
Yes. All right. That is going to bring us to the end of our episode. But before we go, we want to take a brief moment to thank all of the Shallow Squad who have taken the time to rate our show or leave reviews.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This week, we want to highlight Leanna. She had such a awesome review for us. Her title was genuinely honest and refreshing. Deeply shallow is laugh out loud funny. You'll find yourself saying preach as Tara and Matt share what everyone is thinking. You won't regret listening to this relatable, genuinely honest, and refreshing duo. Leanna, we really appreciate the support.
We see you, girl.
Yes. And we could not do this without our listeners.
Absolutely.
And with that in mind, we would really ask this week, tell 5 of your friends about us. We're trying to grow our podcast. We love it. We think it's great. And we know that you guys are finding it
Entertaining.
relatable.
Refreshing, you might say. Genuinely honest. Your words, guys. Your words.
But seriously, tell 5 of your friends about us. We would love to have them come share some time with us. And
Join the Shallow Squad.
Yeah, absolutely. And just remember, we may sound shallow, but the depth is real.
And don't forget to check us out on Instagram at Deeply Shallow Podcast.
And like Deeply Shallow Podcast on Facebook.
Hey, Tara, we've really enjoyed our podcast experience. But I think we would both agree that creating and launching a podcast is way more than just recording content. We had no idea how much technology could help or hurt a podcast. I mean, we could be spending hours on editing, audio quality, uploading to a hosting service, just to name a few.
Totally agree. We interviewed several companies and couldn't be happier with Riley and his team at Podigy. Their skills, passion, and professionalism have proven to be the best partners for us.
Yeah, that's podigy.co, PODIGY.co. Right now, they're offering 25% off first month services for new podcasters.